Welcome back to Inside City Hall. Unlike the four other candidates in total in the state attorney general's race, our next guest has never run for political office before. And on top of being, if you will, a rookie, he is trying to petition his way onto the Democratic primary ballot because he didn't get enough support at his party's convention last month. Here to tell us how he plans on overcoming those obstacles is Sean Patrick Maloney. Welcome back to the program.
Great to be here.
Let's start this way. You're going the petition route. How's that going? How many signatures do you have so far?
Well, look, I've said for 2 months that I'm going to show the respect for the party rules by getting on this ballot without special help and by doing it under the rules. And that means getting 15,000 valid signatures from all over the state. And I'm happy to tell you we are rock solid on that, and we are going to hit that number, and I will be on this ballot, no doubt in my mind.
Poll out to Quinnipiac University seems to indicate that this is a two-person race. Unfortunately for you, you're not one of those two based on the polling. What do you know, Sean Patrick Maloney, that we don't hear?
What I know is that this race is about the people in New York, and it's about their families, and it's about their priorities, and it's not about Andrew Cuomo, and it's not about Mark Green. And what I also know is that these are two of the best-known names in New York politics, and their support is actually pretty weak relative to their name recognition. And I make you a promise, Dominic, you will see that by the end of this campaign, there is room for somebody else, fresh and who's got ideas and who wants to use this office to help people and is going to continue and extend the legacy of Eliot Spitzer. I have a program to do that that involves, putting power on the side of the people who need it most. That involves cleaning up this mess in Albany. I've been talking till I'm blue in the face about that. You know that. And in terms of fighting back against George Bush, there is nobody in this race who's got more experience as a professional investigator. I am the only professional investigative attorney in this race. I'm the only one of these three candidates that sat across from a CEO and put him on the record, asked him questions he didn't want to answer, found out if he's lying, found out if he's stealing money. That's what I do as a lawyer. I worked on the White House senior staff. I've run a business. I'm the only candidate who's done that. I bring something different to this race. And what I bring most of all is a passion to do this job. And what I'm going to do is stay focused on the work and stay focused on people and their problems. And I think if any candidate does this, there's room for somebody else.
Is there any possibility of you dropping out of this race?
No, and I don't know why I would. Look, I think, this is like a supermarket aisle, right? I mean, moms out there who do the shopping like I do every week know this. You go down the aisle, there's a box called Andrew Cuomo and a box called Mark Green, and you want to take that box off the shelf, you know what's inside by now, right? But, I want to give people a choice. And what I want to offer them is something that is fresh and that is different because, we have an extraordinary opportunity in 2006. The ice is breaking in Albany. We're going to have a new progressive governor. We are going to have an opportunity to put a unified team on the field for the first time in a generation. And this is only an opportunity. And the risk for Democrats is not that we lose the election. The risk is that we win the election and don't change anything. And what I want to do is be part of a new team that makes a unified argument for why you ought to give us power because we have a vision for what we're going to do with it that matters in the lives of people who need power working for them. That's why I'm in this race.
Let me switch gears. It is Pride Week here at New York 1. 20 to 30 years ago, with you running or other candidates, it would be a gay candidate running for office.
Right.
Now it's a candidate who happens to be gay.
Right.
Explain the change, and obviously it's got to be a step in the right direction, correct?
I think New Yorkers should be very proud of what they've achieved, and I think we should remember who achieved it, and at what cost, and how much suffering there was, and how much courage it took. And I honor those people this month. I hope we all do, and I commend New York 1 for honoring that too. I've said all along, till people didn't want to hear it anymore, that I am not running as the gay candidate in this race. But I've also said, I'm running as the best candidate with the best ideas. But I want people to know something, especially this month. But I've said it everywhere and everywhere around the state. I'm not running away from it either. I've got a partner of 14 years. We've adopted 3 kids together. I'm very proud of my life. And I do not plan on living my life or running this race as though I'm not proud of it. So, happy Pride, everybody. I think what we're going to do this month is talk about what actually gay and lesbians maybe have to offer to the Democratic Party, which is telling people something they don't want to hear and having faith that if they hear the truth, they'll respect you. I think Democrats spend too much time trying to be loved, trying to be liked by everybody, afraid to say in our hearts, afraid to say what's true. This is something that LGBT people know something about. And it takes some guts, I'll tell you what, to live with integrity. And I'd like to see the Democratic Party learn from that.
Jim McGreevey, let's go across the river. Was that a good moment in gay political history, or was that just McGreevey trying to defend himself from a sexual harassment suit?
I know Jim McGreevey. He's a personal friend of mine. I respect him enormously. I think he has an enormous amount of talent. Obviously, he had a very difficult situation. I think it was a personal situation, and I think he did the right thing and resigned. I think it's a shame that the state and the country has been deprived of somebody with so much talent who could do so much good. I know he took a lot of grief during that whole episode, but if you go back and look, none of the wild charges that were flying around have amounted to anything. At the end of the day, it was a personal situation, and I think he's handled it in a way that he can be that is going to bring him to a better place and his family. And I've become friends with him, and I'll tell you what, he's been a very good mentor, and I have a great deal of respect for him.
Listening to you, you're very articulate, very smooth, if you will. But is this run for you really about setting up 4 years from now, another run, really about getting your name out there so that we know who Sean Patrick Maloney is?
I would not spend the time away from my kids, and I would not ask all my friends for money if I could not win this race. And it's just that simple. I mean, I know you don't believe it, and I know that the polls are what they are, but I will tell you what, if you go back and look where Anthony Weiner was in the mayor's race, he was just the same place I am. And his movement in those polls...
And he didn't win.
No, he didn't win, but he made a heck of a race of it, and I'll tell you what, he was running against a guy, Freddie Ferrer, who had a rock-solid base of 33, 35%. Nobody in this race does. But look, I'll let the pundits worry about that. What I want to do is bring passion and ideas and a vision to this race, because I think it's missing. And I think right now, with the opportunity we have to go boldly into a new century with a new reform-minded governor, why would we want to tie one hand behind his back by giving him a partner that's linked to the past? I want to be a partner to Eliot Spitzer in every sense of the word, and I want to bring so much energy and so much passion and the experience I have as a senior White House advisor, as an investigative attorney, as a businessman, and as a parent to bring, put this office on the side of fighting for people who need power working for them.
When you say why would we give him a partner linked to the past, what exactly are you saying?
Well, I just think that we have a choice in this race. I think we have a choice between folks who've been in politics a long time, who represent an inside track that they're going to run in, and I understand why they do that. There's advantages to that, and there's no doubt about that. I want to bring something different. I'm not in this race to be a lesser Andrew Cuomo or a lesser known Mark Green. I'm in this race to be Sean Patrick Maloney, a Democrat who's got a vision for how to use this office, who's got the guts to take stands that others won't, talking about Albany, talking about what we got to reform, talking about what we as Democrats have to do to get our house in order, why we ought to lead on the issue of cleaning up Albany, and not just talk about it, do it. And do it when we've got executive power so we can define a new progressive movement and a new democratic movement as a national counterexample for how to take back power. Look, there's so much I want to bring to this race, and the only thing I don't want to bring is a bunch of negative stuff about Andrew and Mark. But I think it is fair to say that I am a very different choice, and I hope people will check me out if they want something different this year.
Well, Mr. Maloney, one thing we can surely agree on is that you do bring a lot of optimism to this race. You're very positive.
I'm a glass half full kind of guy. Look, why wouldn't we? I mean, I've spent in 50 counties in 9 months. There are many good people in this state who want to do good things. I mean, single moms working 2 jobs to try to make a better life for their kids. When you spend a lot of time around politicians, it's easy to lose sight of something very important. This race is about the lives of hundreds of thousands, millions of New Yorkers. And this office has the power to make them better, to put government to work for them, to make sure that, these predators that are, sexual predators online who are after our kids, or financial predators who might be after our old people on the phone when they're at home during the day, or in their nursing homes because they aren't the right kind of people to be taking care of them. These corporate predators who put profits ahead of people, and environmental predators who would, for greed, destroy our environment. These are snakes in the nursery, and this job is to protect the innocent and the vulnerable. And I want to do this job. And if people want to hire somebody who's really committed, then I hope they'll remember my name. I'm Sean Patrick Maloney, and I am an alternative to Mark Green and Andrew Cuomo this year.
To Mark Cuomo?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's a little like Bennifer, right? Like Ben Affleck and
well, Mr.
Jennifer
Maloney,
Lopez.
we thank you very much for joining us tonight.
You.
We look forward to chatting with you in the very near future.
Thank you, Dominic. It's always a pleasure.
It is now time for a break, and just a moment we'll be joined by